Alright guys, so today we're going to be doing an oil change on the Lexus IS350. The procedure is pretty straightforward regarding the 350, the IS250, and all those motors are used in a lot of different types of Lexuses as well. This one here takes the 0W20 engine oil, full synthetic. I'm at 20,000 miles, so every 10,000 is what they recommend that you should be doing the oil change in, so that's what I'm doing. As for jacking up the car, you want to jack it up at the recommended points, which is the cross member you can see there. So we're looking at the driver's side front tire, and I lifted it up from that cross member and then just put jack stands on either side just as additional support. So if we're here in front of the front bumper, there are, let's see, there's this panel here that has 5 screws on it. You're going to want to undo those screws to access the oil filter. And you're going to need this tool to remove the oil filter. You could either buy it from Toyota, or Lexus, which will probably cost you a lot more, or just go to your auto parts store. This one cost me about $10 from there. Onto it, you need a socket that'll fit. For me, it's a 13/16 socket, so almost 1 inch, or a little over 3/4 of an inch. And your drain plug is located, so we're looking at the passenger front tire right here. The drain plug is located right there. So you kind of get an idea where the drain plug is. First thing we're going to want to do is change out the oil filter, and then we'll move on to draining the oil. And remember, when draining the oil, you're going to want to make sure your cap is off. Just rest that there. And then also just take out your dipstick, and you can just leave it about there to let air flow in so the oil will flow out. So this is what it looks like when you take out the 10 millimeter screws, sockets, whatever you call them. You can do it with the screwdriver, but you should probably do it with a 10 millimeter to prevent stripping out the screw. But anyways, this is what the oil filter looks like. Let me switch hands. The oil cap, or the oil wrench, the wrench for the oil filter fits right on top of that. And I'm actually going to use a breaker bar. It's a pretty big bar to break that loose and get the oil filter out. So you might want to use the breaker bar to kind of break it loose, but I have a socket on it now, which is making it a lot easier to turn. So I guess use the tools if you have them. If not, breaker bar will work fine. And if you don't have a breaker bar, this should loosen it. It wasn't all that tight, but it should loosen it up pretty good. The filter's not all the way off, but you can see oil is dripping down. So it was a good idea to have the catch pan at the bottom. So I'll let this drain out and then I'll remove it all the way. So that's what the oil filter looks like. I just kind of slid out the oil filter and kind of scooped it in this bag. And you want to make sure you clean the inside of that with a paper towel. Make sure you get all the dirt and debris out. Here's the replacement air filter that I'm using, the Wix 57137. This one will also come with a couple of gaskets. So it's recommended to replace the gasket every single time. That's your first gasket there. And then my model doesn't have it, but the small gasket, you can see it'll be used on the inside if your car has it, so make sure to put that on. And also, before you put the gasket on, put some oil on your finger, the new oil that you're going to put in. Just kind of lube up the gasket on the outside, or lube up the gasket before you put it on. Okay, so we got the new oil filter and the gasket on there, the O-ring gasket. So we'll go ahead and just put it back into that slot and tighten it up. And we'll be done with that part, and we'll start draining the oil next. So the new filter is on. You want to make sure it's in the same location as it was before, Toyota facing down. There's no reason to completely over tighten it. You should use about the same force that it took to tighten it, so you don't want to leave it too loose and you don't want to over tighten it either. So when you're loosening it, make sure you kind of know how much force it took to open it. Alright, onto the drain plug, and I'll get the engine oil out. And now for the drain plug. It's a 14mm socket. We're just gonna loosen the bolt and drain the oil. And also there's gonna be a little gasket or a ring. Let's see if we could find it for you. Right there you can see the extra ring there. You want to make sure you replace that. There you go, we got the drain plug out, oil coming out straight into the catch pan. We'll let it drain thoroughly, and then again replace the ring there, clean it up, and put your washer back in, or put your bolt back in. Okay, now that the car oil is fully drained, I got the plug back on there. We're gonna use one funnel and put 6.6 quarts in there. I'll probably start with 6.2 to 6.3 and then run the engine, level out the car, and try to fill up the oil and check the dipstick and make sure the levels are fine. Alright, so I added about 6.2 quarts of oil to it, and we got the car back on the ground. I went ahead and started it for about a minute just to kind of let the oil circulate. It's been a little bit of time now, maybe another 2 minutes since then, but the oil should be rested within the oil pan, and we'll go ahead and check the dipstick. First thing you want to do is take the dipstick out, wipe it off, and then put it back in to get an accurate measurement. So do that a few times, make sure the oil level is within those two dots, preferably closer to the top one. It should take about 6.6 quarts to get there, so I'm expecting it to be a little bit low right now, and expecting it to be a little low when I check it, but I'll add oil in there as needed until the oil pressures or oil level is where it's supposed to be. Now that we're done with the oil change, I checked the oil level, it was good to go. We'll go inside and reset the light, the maintenance light. So now that we're in the car, we're gonna wanna hold down the brake, press the start button, start the car up. And we're gonna go to the maintenance menu. You do that by clicking this button here. This is a F Sport model, so I'm not sure how it is for the standard cars, standard model. So basically you're just gonna go into the maintenance menu, which is the very last one there, and then scheduled maintenance, reset data, yes, data has been reset, and it's simple as that. And now you're good for another 10,000 miles until you have to do your next oil change. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment if I left anything out. I'll be happy to answer and respond to your comments. Thank you.